Women made the Me Too movement. Women made the feminist movement. Women scream and yell consent left and right. And now women are confused as to why men do not approach anymore. Are you kidding me? It's not that any woman would do it, it's that every woman could do it if she decides to do so. Women have the power of the law and society behind them, and they know it. Guys know it too, so walking away is the only logical solution. Mortal courtship has always eluded me, but I'm observant enough to know that every single relationship my friends entered turned out in disaster. Decades wasted, lives squandered, and careers ruined. The standard operating procedure seems to be the same across the board. Get in a relationship, have a kid, use the kid as a legal bludgeon in court, and retire early by making the guy pay for everything while getting nothing back for the rest of his life. After that, the kid becomes an ignored inconvenience whose usefulness is used up, so they're raised like crap with no respect for authority, and they end up with ruined lives before they even got a chance to start. You know, they really need to make the consequences of false allegations more severe. The ease with which women can get away with it is sinister. The Me Too movement had good intentions, but worse consequences than many could have predicted. Men don't approach women for fear of false accusations. Men also sometimes don't report being physically harassed or abused by women because they expect not to be taken seriously. They expect to be laughed at. If a man is harassed or assaulted by a woman in the workplace and reports it, she gets a slap on the wrist. If a woman in the workplace even suggests that a man is making her uncomfortable, he gets fired. I have observed a substantial increase in the number of women attempting clumsily to approach men or make them aware of their interests. This includes a lot of hovering, some following, and a great deal of walking back and forth across the same place if the guy is sitting down on a bench, etc. This behavior is probably more likely when ovulation is taking place. They are not so good at making a verbal approach, which is surprising given that women weave words like magic spells. Women are finally getting what they have fought for. The long-term cost is far more than they ever would have expected. Women are finding more and more that men just simply do not need them. Being single and alone in this day and age is suddenly not so bad. But let's not forget that women who abuse those laws for their own gain are also giving the middle finger to the very women who were meant to be protected by these laws. Divorce and child support laws were originally made to protect women and mothers who stayed at home all day and didn't work. But now that everyone can work and make however much they want, these laws should be destroyed or heavily altered to be a 50-50 split. Not one person wins everything and the other loses everything. They were designed to disincentivize men from stepping out of marriage and leaving women with nothing, but now it incentivizes women to leave for no good reason and even reward them for it. The part that is so frustrating with these women is that they know the truth and what is going on, yet they pretend not to know and try to manipulate others through their wording. As long as laws stay so in favor of women, wise men will avoid even talking to them, because whatever the reward might be, the risk isn't worth it. It's unbelievable that women get to complain about a man, and suddenly that man is fired without a proper hearing or a verdict. This has been happening for decades, as a massive number of young boys are being diagnosed with ADHD because they display unruly behavior at home or at school, and with Big Pharma making a killing again, sedating young boys who really need stimulation, discipline, and boundaries. Plus, loving parents, of course, who have their interests at heart and are not obsessed with self-gratification and consumerism and virtue-signaling activism and ideologizing. The family institution has been systematically obliterated, probably an agenda. At the very least, gross negligence. The level of proof a man needs to prove something didn't happen is insane in modern court. On the reverse side, if a woman is proven to lie later, she faces no repercussions, no charges. Even if the man spent time in prison due to her false accusations, when he's proven innocent, she doesn't get a similar sentence. Think about what "believe all women" implies. It implies that women are incapable of deception, regret, revenge, and so forth. But there is not even one woman in existence who cannot tell you horror stories about how other women she knows have lied about her, spread rumors to hurt her, excluded her for no reason, destroyed her self-image, slandered her, and poisoned her social life. So why would we think that when the subject is men, women who are used to lying, backstabbing, rumoring, slandering, and bullying each other would suddenly become utterly incapable of lying about men? It doesn't make sense. A lot of women will, if they are not interested in you, not only reject you, but act like your approach was inappropriate in some way. I honestly think it's because they like the thought that they are always nice, and they don't want to concede that they find some guys unattractive for shallow reasons, which is perfectly fine, by the way. So they rationalize that you did something bad in order to justify it to themselves. Asking a female friend out is wrong because you ruined the friendship, and it supposedly implies that you were just pretending to be her friend in order to get your leg over. Asking out a woman you just met in a bar is wrong because she just wants to socialize with her friends. Asking a girl you just met in a club is wrong because she just wants to dance. Asking a female coworker out is wrong because it's unprofessional. Asking a random woman you meet in a shop or on the street is wrong because it makes her feel harassed. And so, with all of this, how do guys approach women? And where? There's no other place left except perhaps online and on social media, but that's a totally different story. The sad thing is that the good guys are paying for the sins of the guys who have no sense of boundaries and who feel entitled to make rude and physical remarks, or even touch a woman without her consent. The Me Too movement came into existence because there was, and still is, a problem in this area. There are a lot of guys out there who still haven't got the memo. These are not the ones who are gun-shy. These are not the guys who are afraid to approach women. These are the guys who don't think about the consequences. It's all about what I want. And sadly, many of them do get away with it. Guys are now finding out what it is like to be afraid, what it is like to act with caution, to walk on eggshells. I'm not saying that this is right, but this is something women have had to do for a long time. I don't think the laws were made to destroy marriage. I think they were written before a no-fault divorce. They were written when you still needed to prove a valid reason for being granted a divorce, not just "I changed my mind." That's why they seem so nuts to us now. The majority of guys in their 20s and 30s who talk to women have had a weird experience with a girl who flipped out because of it, was crazy, maybe called the cops, or at least made a scene. You're not likely to go to jail for this, as you did nothing wrong, but having that happen, and knowing that society has also lost its mind and takes the crazy girl seriously, implicitly backs her, and so therefore you could end up in jail, lose your job, etc. It causes them to begin seeing it all as too risky, and societies can reap what they sow on that. Declining birth rate, declining population, destruction of marriage as a foundational institution. It all leads to economic depressions, unhappy citizens who will violently demand changes from the elites, and superpowers and near superpowers risk turning themselves into second and third-rate nations. You can't mess with the baby making or the family. You think you're too big to fail. You think the world is static. Keep knocking out the support beams of your society and see what happens. Here's the reality. Men are physically more advantageous, while women are socially advantageous. Sadly, when men use their advantages, they get arrested, while when women do it, they are praised. As I said, women are finally getting what they have fought for. The long-term cost is far more than they ever would have expected. Women are finding more and more that men simply do not need them. Being single and alone in this day and age is suddenly not so bad. But let's not forget that women who abuse those laws for their own gain are also giving the middle finger to the very women who were meant to be protected by these laws. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Support us and help us spread support for men around the world. Do comment and share your thoughts. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.